It is 6:30 p.m. We're going to call this workshop of the Lewisville City Council to order, and we do have a quorum. First up tonight is the discussion of consent and regular agenda items. Council, if we could take a look at that. First off, we have invocation by Councilmember Green. We have pledge to the flags with Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Kelly. We have a presentation of election. That'll be item C1. We have a proclamation and recognition for Parks and Rec. That's our Parks and Recreation Month. E1, public hearing. Consideration of an ordinance of the Lewisville City Council amending the zoning ordinance and the SUP for manufacturing for fast photonics. Any questions, comments?
It doesn't seem like there's too much in the way of toxic stuff.
I think they're going to kind of get a little more detail on that. So technically, it's not toxic at all.
Okay. Yeah.
So from my understanding, but it has to be labeled as such. But
right.
We'll get a detail from staff out of the front. So we have approval of the minutes. Item G2. We need to pull an item from here. Which one was that?
Item number 8.
Yeah, we need to pull item 8 from the consent agenda. Why is this all lined out in my...
Oh, it's crossed out and it's added after.
Ah, okay, there we go. So if one of y'all could pull item 8, and then Councilmember Meredith will have to recuse himself for us to discuss item 8. And then do what we need to do with that one.
I can pull it.
Thank you. All right, so item G3, bid award for annual requirements agreement for ready-mix concrete. 59-230. Consent agenda item 4, bid award for annual requirement contract screening and retaining wall maintenance.
I have a question about this one. I'm not quite sure who is the appropriate person to ask. It'll be Aaron. Okay, so how many retaining walls do we have? Are we just chipping away at them every single year, and we're never going to get all the way through before we have to restart over again?
So we have a 5-year plan on retaining walls, and I don't know how, to be honest with you, I don't know how long in the future it will take us to get all the way through them, but we will always have a requirements contract like this to handle when, like if there's an accident and a panel falls or a car drives through one or something like that. Okay. And so that number is really just a sum of the bid items, because there were so many bid items. This is really just establishing unit prices.
Okay, and that is something we budget every year as part of your budget to the CIP. Okay.
So we added a line item for that.
Part 2 of that question would be probably for Richard. So these are for retaining walls that are not covered by an HOA. Does our current code allow for us to continue to acquire more retaining walls, or do we require an HOA?
We do require it if it's straight zoning, because we cannot make an HOA mandatory unless it's a planned development. And the ones that where the HOA has assumed responsibility or has identified themselves as being the responsible party occurs with the PD approval. So there's both, but we expect any residential development that's yet to be developed in the city most likely will be a PD, because it's usually a challenging piece of property.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Consent agenda item 5, bid award for annual requirements contract for wood screening and chain link fence replacement. So same, only different. Item 6, bid award annual requirements agreement for clamps, fittings, pipes to Ferguson. Item 7, interlocal cooperation contract between the City of Lewisville and the City of Denton. This is Department of Justice Assistance Grant Funds. I think because it's Denton, they have to file this one and then we get to piggyback on it, right?
Correct. So we'll expend the money and then they'll reimburse us after we expend it.
Item 8, that is the authorize the city manager,
Right.
and we'll pull that one. Yeah, I don't have any new language on mine, Jennifer. I just have a stricken paragraph.
Oh, okay, I'll give you.
Item 9, approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement with Denton County, Texas, related to design, construction, extension, and funding of Pines Boulevard. Item 10, resolution of the City Council, City of Lewisville, authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement with Cumberland Youth and Family Services to receive a portion of our COVID emergency response fund.
Where exactly are they located at?
Were they located in Denton?
They're in Denton, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
they're in debt.
But this is going to be at the First United Methodist Church on Main Street.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been in debt for a while.
Mhm.
11, approval of a resolution authorizing the acquisition of a drainage easement. Questions on that? Item 12, variance to the city code regarding a waiver of athletic field rental fees for our Battle of the Badge. I hear that that our police chief is asking for us to turn this down.
We're not
He
crazy.
would.
Maybe that's what they do.
No, glad to see this one back up again. Item 13, ordinance of the City of Lewisville approving annual service plan update. This is Lakeside Crossing.
So they're not due to pay any money until 2026, is that what I told them?
I'm not sure when the first payment is due.
I'll have to double check on that.
We got nothing on the phone yet, so.
All right, item 14, consideration of appointments of the 2035 steering committee. So we've got a couple of options here, council, if we want to just go ahead and approve all of the applicants, we can. We did have a small group that got missed in the paperwork, but we also have a couple of others that have popped up. So if we want to, out there when we talk about, if we want to extend the timeline for a couple more weeks, or if we want to just stop that
Well, I
here.
would like for us to be able to discuss it.
We will discuss the committee chairpersons, but we're going to do that.
Are you saying that we've received some additional applications?
We've additional applications for the full steering committee.
Okay.
So, and some requests. So, when
What
I,
do you mean request?
to actually, oh, I forgot to sign up, I would like to.
Okay, so the link is still active or no?
No, the link, that's all
I
been
think
shut
we're
down.
reactivating it right now.
That is correct.
Yes.
And we do have to be careful because I know some people reached out specifically about this and we told them, too late to do this. So we have to go back and
Yeah.
find
So
something
that's why
else.
we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna decide how we wanna do it. If we wanna be done tonight, then we'll be done tonight. Or do we wanna give another 2 weeks for people to fill out and possibly be added? We can go that route. It's up to council and what you guys feel like.
We would do another social media push too to make sure people are aware that it's reactivated if you decide to.
Yeah. The other option here is, or the other item to consider is committee chairpersons. So I've been asked by staff to appoint 7 committee chair people. Of course, we've had upwards of 60 people in the group say that they would either be, they would like to be either a chair or co-chair. I think tonight's intent is that we will pick 7 chairs. And then, of course, co-chair is wide open for anybody at that point within their committees and allow the committee to build that particular one. But we'll discuss the names and whatnot when we're out there for those 7. So we got those two things to deal with. Are we good? Questions? Always, right? All right, I do have two city staff reports from David Selman and Mark McNeil. And then we do have closed session. Any questions, comments, concerns about tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item B, our legislative update. And we have Ms. Brandy Bird with Bird Advocacy to present.
Thank you. Go ahead, James, please.
Mayor and Council, Councilman Tipton, being new, you might not know Brandy. The rest of you probably do, but Brandy Bird has been an outstanding advocate for us in Austin these past several sessions, and we worked her hard this year. She took your priorities, she followed them, which is good because the legislature had kind of the same list. But we got some good news to share with you on some of those. And Brandy is going to walk you through those priorities. We'll end with a very brief view at 5 other bills that passed and were signed that will have some kind of operational impact on Lewisville. Just to give you an idea of the more than 1,000 bills that passed, we're touched by a number of those. So the Brandy has the highlights. I'm going to hand it off to her.
Thank you, James. So I'm here to give you an update on the legislative session that just ended June 2nd. We had a very successful session. I want to say a special thank you to the mayor and Councilman Kelly and all of you for coming down to Austin, meeting with members, testifying. That definitely leads to our success. And to all the staff team for all the late night text messages and emails, Claire and James and the entire staff team. I couldn't do this without all of them. I certainly wouldn't understand the impacts to the city without their input. So very much appreciate all the help on that front as well. So I just wanted to go back through your legislative priorities that you adopted, and then we'll talk about how these ended up in the legislative session. I'm not going to read them because we're going to talk about them in a minute, but for Councilman Tipton, I wanted to do a little refresh. So going back to your number 1 priority, sales tax sourcing, destination sourcing. There was a House bill filed by Morgan Meyer. We know because we were watching it all very closely. The bill was voted out of committee but never made it any further on the House side and didn't go anywhere in the Senate. So very appreciative of Senator Parker and Representative Baumgartner and Little for helping in this effort and being poised to move forward if it were to go any further on the House side. It was voted out of committee last session as well, as I recall, Patrick. So I think it's about the same point in the process as previous session as well. And then there was a bill on the other side of this issue that would have clarified origin sales tax sourcing. It never received a hearing in committee, which is a similar process from previous sessions as well. And then some of the other priorities that you adopted, reasonable property tax relief. I think our biggest concern was appraisal caps and what that could do to the revenue side for the city. There were over a dozen bills that were filed, but none of those bills ever even received a hearing in committee. And then I'm sure you're very familiar, the property tax relief package that was passed by the House and Senate. All of the revenue impacts for those bills are all on the state side. So I just want you to be aware that going forward, that is a hole in the state budget that's going to have to be filled by raising the homestead exemption, both for individuals and then also for seniors and disabled, and the business personal property tax exemption. So those are the 3 bills that were part of that property tax relief package. There are impacts to state revenues, so that does impact everything that we do going forward. I just want you to be aware of that. And then on the affordable housing side, there were over a dozen affordable housing bills that were filed. Some of them moved a little bit in the process, not very far, but our biggest priority was the traveling HFC bill and closing that loophole. So that was HB 21 by Representative Gates. That did pass. That loophole is eliminated. There is a grace period that was included in the bill. So basically all HFC projects outside of their area, service area, as of September 1, they have until January 1 of 2027 to continue to receive those tax exemptions. So as of January 1, 2027, they will either have to divest themselves of those properties or work out a deal with the localities where those projects reside, or whatever they choose. But it's a 15-month grace period that was included in the bill. That was part of
saying they have to have that own the property by September 1st.
September 1 of this year. And so then they basically have 15-month grace period to figure out what they're going to do with the properties going forward. That was a compromise. Claire and the staff team worked on some amendment language. We tried on both the House and Senate side to reduce that loophole or to get some of those fees back in that interim period. And the compromise had already been agreed to as far as the 15-month grace period, so they were not willing to accept our amendment on that issue. And then another priority that you adopted previously in the beginning of the session was state investment in public transit. There were 3 bills filed that would have taken some existing state revenues and dedicated that to public transit. All 3 bills got a committee hearing this session, which is further than they've gotten in previous sessions. That was in the House Subcommittee on Transportation Funding, but they were not voted out of committee, so that's as far as they went in the process, but it's progress. And then the TSTC funding, this was a huge priority for us. The constitutional amendment did pass, SJR 59 by Senator Birdwell. It creates an $850 million endowment fund for TSTC campuses around the entire state. That is a constitutional amendment, so it will be going to the voters in November. So keep that in mind as the November election is coming up. Make sure you're putting that in your newsletters and posting on social media. We want to make sure that the votes are there so that that's approved in November. And once it is, then TSTC has access to that funding. But it is an endowment fund, and so they'll be utilizing small amounts per year in order to grow that endowment. So it's not a lump sum.
Can I add one note on this one real quick?
Yes.
Just a reminder, with the November election, we still are bound by electioneering laws which say we cannot speak against or for, we cannot advocate against or for passage of any ballot item. So the city cannot go out there and say, vote for this just because we really want it. We can merely let people know this is on the ballot and go vote. Y'all have your special rules, and I think you know what they are. I'm happy to chat with you. I'm sure Liz would be happy to chat with you. But on social media, you will not see the city saying, hey, everybody, let's rally behind this. That's going to be left to residents who understand what that bill means. So.
Yeah, the city cannot, but you can personally.
Correct. I want you to know when it gets time, when you see us not saying that, just remember we can't.
And then a couple of other priorities and some bills that we weren't expecting, but certainly became big battles this session. So the first was one of your priorities, preserving the voice of local governments, i.e. taxpayer-funded lobbying. Senate Bill 19 did pass the Senate and then went nowhere in the House. So the governor has talked about this potentially being an item for the special session that's upcoming, but the House position has not changed on this issue. And then a couple of other issues that, like I said, we weren't expecting but became big battles. There were 2 bills to expand the super preemption bill from last session, the Death Star bill, as it may be. Both of those bills did not go anywhere on the House side, but those were certainly things we were working on in the final weeks of the session. And big fights. Again, appreciate the support of our entire delegation. So when you see Senator Parker and Representative Bumgarner a little out in the community, please thank them because they were all very supportive and huge helps for us this session. And then there were a couple of bills on the financial side that would have limited your ability to utilize various forms of debt and caps on debts. There were different iterations of this. All of those bills died, did not pass. And then there were several bills that also would have expanded third-party review, so would have allowed third-party reviewers to review different development documents that would come before the city, but with no city oversight. And so we worked closely with our delegation in defeating both of those bills as well. They did not pass. And then there were a number of land use bills that were a priority for this council, and they came down and testified on several of these bills. There were 4, the minimum lot size bill and the commercial conversion to multifamily. The first 2 bills, SB 15 and SB 840, did pass, but they did pass with a population bracket. So they only applied to communities above 150,000 population. That was a compromise with Senator Parker and the Lieutenant Governor. Senator Parker worked very hard for us on this issue. He wanted a 500,000 population bracket. That's where he started. The compromise ended at 150, but certainly that gives us 2 sessions before that bracket will apply to Lewisville. So we've got some marching orders on these 2 issues to get that bracket raised over the next 2 sessions. And then the other 2 land use bills, the accessory dwelling unit bill and the multifamily on religious land by right, neither of those bills passed. So just the first 2 passed, and they passed with the population bracket of 150,000. And then there were a number of bills that weren't necessarily on our priority list, but did pass, and they do impact Lewisville. So I'm going to turn it over to James, and he wants to give you an overview of that.
Thank you. So staff has pulled together a list of about 50 bills that have a direct impact on something we do. A lot of them are fairly minor. Add a training class. In one case, add a training class we've been doing for several years, so we feel good about that one. Have to maybe adopt a policy or make a change in some of our ordinances. These 5 have a little bit larger impacts, and really these are examples for council to see. These were not priority bills. We didn't spend a ton of time on them, but we watched them, we were involved. We did offer some language in some cases, and now we have to accommodate what was passed. Public meeting notices. This changes the current 72 hours to 3 business days. Sounds like the same, but with weekends and holidays, it's not. So city council agendas have to be posted a day earlier than we have been. P&Z, I think, a day earlier, and Old Town DRC 2 days earlier, just the way it works. So not a major impact, but it does mean we have to change our processes a bit and get things done a little bit earlier than we've been doing historically. Mobile food vendors, this one sounds huge, because it basically says from now on, mobile food vendors have to register and inspect with the state, not local health authorities. Came from a representative in the middle of Odessa area, and a food truck operator there was mad that they had to get inspected and permitted in Odessa and in Midland. They're so close together, it should be the same permit, same inspection. That was their position. And a majority of both chambers agreed. For us, one thing it means is we will not be able to enforce any food truck regulations that go beyond what the Department of State Health Services sets. They're still working on those. There's some we already know. For example, the amount of time a truck can stay in one place. We currently have it, and Chris can correct me if, well, Chris cannot correct me if I'm wrong. Ashley can correct me if I'm wrong. But it is based on, I think, 10 or 15 minutes after they no longer have somebody standing at the window, they need to move on. This is now based on a number of hours, so we're going to have to amend our zoning ordinance. The good thing for us is we can still enforce zoning, location, and land use. And that's particularly good because when you talk about those other regulations, we do not think, based on our interpretation, that will affect a purpose-built food court truck. Because our UDC treats that as a land use. So we think we're okay there, and we hope to be able to find out. We do have the option to make a deal with the state where we would perform the inspections and they would reimburse us. But those details are a little bit murky right now, how that would work. Would it be at the level of appropriateness in terms of the fees? We don't know right now if it benefits the city to do it, but we'll research that once the state sets their rules. The food establishments kind of does the same thing. It eliminates a lot of food establishment regulations that cities typically and historically have done, and it means we can only do what the state does in terms of all of our inspections and all of our permitting requirements. Now, we're still assessing it. It's interesting, one thing it does is it caps the inspection fee and it caps the reinspection fee. Give you an example, reinspection fee cannot be more than $200. Our current fee is $75. So we've been a bargain, maybe. 200 sounds pretty good, frankly. One of the other changes is any change that we make in the fee schedule or inspection process for food service establishments, we have to notify the Department of State Health, have to tell the state at least 60 days in advance, and we have to notify by mail or email all stakeholders affected by it. So if we're going to increase the permit fee from $75 to $200 for a reinspection, we notify the state 60 days in advance. And then we send an email or a letter out to everybody that would be affected by their reinspection fee. The state has the authority to come in and say that is excessive, but is murky in how they would do that. So that's what we're going to have to spend some time this next year working. It's similar in a way to last session. You might remember they talked about agricultural uses. I'll be done. Agricultural uses, but didn't define it, and said the state would develop a series of rules to define an agricultural use, and I'm sure they will someday. So we're watching that. Home-based businesses, what's interesting here is they created two different types of home-based businesses. Those that have an impact on the neighborhood and those that don't. Those that do is based on amount of traffic and amount of parking, essentially, and hours and noise, things like that. The ones that don't is everybody else. For the ones that do, we still have some rules and regulations we can enforce. For the ones that don't, I'm an accountant, I use my home office. We have a lot less authority to control that business use, and we don't control most of them anyway. One rule we have is you can't hire outside non-family members. That rule will have to go away, because the state does not have that rule. And then the last one, the zoning change protest, this was designed to make it easier for housing developments to come in. It's an affordable housing initiative is the way they described it. So right now, if 20% of adjacent property owners object to a proposed zoning change, that's enough to block it. And the city council has to have a supermajority to overcome that. That is changing from 20% to 60%. And if they hit the 60%, a simple majority of the council will overcome it. So a few changes on zoning protests. We don't get a ton of them, but Richard's group will be working hard on those. Some notification changes, and a lot of them are things we already do by practice.
And then very quickly, I just want to talk a little bit about what's next. We talked about this already. Please reach out to Senator Parker, Representative Bumgarner, and Representative Little. They definitely went to bat for us this session. And then the special session has already been called by the governor. It starts in 2 weeks on July 21st. There are 6 items on the call, all bills that he vetoed for various reasons and wants to revisit, the THC ban being the most high profile. None of those issues right now impact us, so we'll be watching that closely. The governor can add items to the special session call at any time during the special session, so it's something we have to be diligent and watch. And then there's been rumors about congressional redistricting and also potentially disaster relief as a result of the flooding in Kerrville. So we anticipate some more items being added to the call by the governor before the session starts. And then 2026 elections, the primary is in March, that comes up quickly. We might have some changes to our delegation. We will certainly have a lot of changes on the Senate side. There are a number of senators that have been heavily involved in some of the bills that we didn't necessarily like that won't be returning. So we'll be seeing a lot of new faces on the Senate side. They're either retiring or they've announced that they're seeking another office. So just expect a lot of dynamic changes on the Senate side. And then, of course, interim hearings will be taking place. The Lieutenant Governor and Speaker will be announcing interim charges over the next few months. And then we'll be watching that process closely to see how you may be able to participate in that process. So with that, I will take any questions or comments from council.
But it's a lobbyist point. There are like 9 bills about lobbyists.
Taxpayer-funded lobbying.
Yeah.
There was one Senate Bill 19, that went the furthest. It passed the Senate and got referred to House Committee and went nowhere in the House.
So you're good for at least another couple of years.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you, Brandy, and thank you for all the staff and council for going. I mean, we really ramped up our participation in the process, which I'm very proud of, and glad that we're doing it. And unfortunately, we have to. So I appreciate everybody who put the time and effort into it. I know it's a lot of work. So let's have a little breather, and we'll start again.
Yes.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to move into regular session. We've got about a minute to get back out here, so. Good evening. We're going to call this meeting of the Lewisville City Council regular session to order. We do have a quorum. First up on tonight's agenda, our invocation with Councilmember Kristen Green.
Please pray with me. Heavenly Father,
We come before you with heavy hearts, mourning the lives lost by the devastating floods in central Texas over the weekend. We cry out together in grief, stunned by the magnitude of this tragedy. Lord, please hold this grieving community in your tender embrace. Lord, we lift up to you the families shattered by loss, whose loved ones were taken by the floods. You know the depth of their sorrow. I pray that you grant them peace that surpasses understanding. Wrap them in your love as only you can, whispering comfort into the silence left behind. In the long nights of grief, be their refuge. In the days ahead, be their strength. Lord, we also lift up in prayer our first responders who have stepped in to help with unwavering courage. Thank you for their strength, their sacrifice, their steadfast commitment to saving lives. They have been your hands and feet, offering hope, rescuing the stranded, comforting the grieving, and restoring order amid destruction.
Yes.
Shield them, Lord, as they continue your work. Renew their energy when they grow weary. Grant them peace in the quiet moments and the assurance that their service brings light into the darkest places. Lord, I pray for the friends and family of those who are still missing. Surround them with strength in this painful waiting. Give them courage to endure each moment and gentle peace to calm their fear. And finally, Lord, we give you thanks for the families reunited, the children carried to safety, the elderly cared for, the vulnerable protected. Each rescued life is a precious reminder that light can still break through the darkest clouds. Lord, remind us not to take these mercies for granted. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Mayor Pro Tem Kelly.
Please join me in the pledges. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
flag. I pledge allegiance to you, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. First up tonight, we have the presentation of the certificate of election to council member Lonnie Tipton. And apparently we've got Commissioner Mitchell. Where'd you go? There she is. She's going to be doing some swearing in. But our Commissioner Bobby Mitchell will administer the oath of office. Councilmember Tipton, can I have you join me down here, please, sir? Commissioner Mitchell, you mind? Sir, I have the distinct pleasure to certify that Lonnie E. Tipton, at the runoff election held in the city of Lewisville, Texas, on the 7th day of June, 2025, by virtue of having received a majority of the votes cast, has been elected council member place number 4 of the city of Lewisville, Texas, and was, on the 18th day of June, 2025, certified by a canvass of the vote by the city council of the city of Lewisville, Texas. Now, therefore, by reason of the provisions of the city charter and ordinances of the city of Lewisville, Texas, you are hereby notified to qualify as the law directs for the said office of council member place number 4 of the city of Lewisville, and therefore to enter upon the discharge of your duties in accordance with the law in such cases made and provided. Witness my hand and the seal of seal of the city of Lewisville, this the 7th day of July, 2025. Mayor T.J. Gilmore. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Got some swearing to do? We have the oath. There we go.
Good.
You got it?
Good evening, everyone. I am honored this evening. This was my seat, place 4, 35 years ago. So I'm honored to be able to swear Lonnie Tipton in. A friend for a long time, even back then. So I'm so honored, and I thank the council and our city manager for allowing me to do this. Mayor also. Would you raise your right hand? I,
I, Lonnie Tipton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties of the office
execute the duties of the office
of place number 4
of place number 4
on the City Council
on the City Council
of the City of Louisville,
of the City of Lewisville,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and
the charter and ordinances of this city.
and charter and ordinance of this city.
And I furthermore solemnly swear
And I furthermore solemnly swear
that I have not directly
I have not directly
or indirectly
or
paid,
indirectly paid,
offered,
offered,
or promised to pay,
or promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
nor promised to contribute
nor promised to contribute
any money
any money
or valuable thing,
or valuable thing,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
as a reward
as a reward
for the giving
for the giving
or withholding
or withholding
a vote
a vote
at the election in which I was elected.
at the vote at which I was elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I should be able to just quote that by,
You would think, but it is
Yeah.
the longest swearing in, I think, in North America. It really is.
after all these many swearing in.
Right?
You got that, Jackie? I got it. I'm gonna turn around and.
Yeah, get that on film too.
You gonna turn around and what? Oh, you don't want me getting that on tape.
Okay, don't get it on tape, okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, my friend.
Okay.
Here's some good work.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna, so, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
You just tell them what to do. I'm just
Okay.
here for
So-
window dressing.
So West Side, or everybody that's here, if y'all will come in the middle, and Lonnie's gonna come here so we can take a picture. And Ms. Mitchell, will you come by this? You gonna come in the picture?
I thought I was gonna take it.
Oh, no, come on. Y'all wanna take a picture? No, we're fine. Come on.
Can I go through your phone at the same time?
You can, you're not gonna find that.
Oh, I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's gather like we like each other. Come on. We got 2.3 minutes. You ready? Okay, y'all can kind of like, right there, I can get you all. Except the gentleman just decided to jump in. 1, right here. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, we're gonna see how many of these folks trust you by leaving.
next
You know, if they leave here, they trust that you're gonna do it. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. All right, where's my Parks and Rec team? Whoop, whoop. Y'all good? Gotcha. Awesome. So here's an amazing thing that July is National Parks and Recreation Month. So whereas Parks and Recreation is essential, and they run. They don't just walk, they run. This is our Parks Department. While as Parks and Recreation is essential to the health, accessibility, sustainability, and quality of life in Lewisville, and the City of Lewisville recognizes park and recreation as critical infrastructure that strengthens resilience, builds connections, and inspires civic pride. And whereas the Lewisville Parks and Recreation Department leads with innovation and access, transforming public spaces through initiatives such as the Healthy Infrastructure Plan, pollinator prairie conversions, inclusive programming, and environmentally sustainable practices. And whereas the Lewisville Parks and Recreation Department enhances community wellness by offering access to fitness and nature by connecting 84% of residents to a park within a 10-minute walk, woohoo, of their homes, and enhancing engagement at facilities through programs that reflect the city's culture and diversity. And whereas dedicated staff and volunteers contribute tens of thousands of hours annually to ensure everyone feels welcome and safe to gather, play, and grow. Now, therefore, I, T.J. Gilmore, Mayor of the City of Lewisville, and on behalf of the Lewisville City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2025 as Parks and Recreation Month in Lewisville, Texas, and urge all residents to observe the occasion with appropriate ceremonies and activities. It means get out and play. All right, let's give our Parks team a hand.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Gilmore, City Council members, and park fans. Typically, I hand this off to someone else on our team, but I wanted to take the privilege this year of doing it myself, because not only do we want to say thank you to our park fans, those who play with us, but our park policymakers, our park partners, and they're incredibly important, and you're why we do it. I want to take a moment to thank our park and recreation professionals who are out there day in and day out creating a sense of quality of life for the residents of Lewisville and our visitors, and they don't always get as much congratulations as thanks as they deserve, but they set bold goals. And what's more impressive is that they pursue them more boldly than the goals that they set, because they set out a goal about 5 years ago to be the best department in the state of Texas. And not only have they achieved that, they are now national finalists for the National Gold Medal for Park and Recreation in the entire nation for our size. And Erica and Chris Chastain and their teams did an incredible job of putting that application together and putting a wonderful video that everyone will see soon about how we impact and serve the community. So to them, I say thank you very much for what you do day in and day out with not all the fanfare that comes of what you should every day. So thank you very much, team. Now can we all align for a picture? Shorties in the front, shorties in the front, or shorters in the front, that's you. Like that.
Get that widescreen on the Samsung.
All right, we got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And folks, I have to thank our residents for giving us the opportunity to create great spaces. I see other cities that don't feel that they deserve great spaces. And Lewisville residents time and time again step up and say, hey, we deserve good things. We want you to do it the right way, but we want to make sure that we have great places for our kids, for our families, and not just a bedroom community, but a place where we really are proud to call home. So thank you for giving council the opportunity to continue to drive those types of innovations and excitement. With that, we're going to move back into the regular session. All right, next up, item E1, public hearing. Public hearing, consideration of an ordinance of the Lewisville City Council amending the zoning ordinance by granting a special use permit for manufacturing medium intensity on approximately 5.5183 acres legally described as Red River Business Park Lot 1, Block A, located at 900 Arthurs Lane and zoned light industrial district, providing for a savings clause, repealer, severability, penalty, and an effective date as requested by Angela Hunt, Munch, Hart, Kopf, and Haar on behalf of Fast Photonics USA Incorporated, the tenant, and Arthurs Lane Business Park LLC, the property owner. Item 25-04-7-SUP. Fast Photonics USA Incorporated, a manufacturer and supplier of telecom products, desires to open a manufacturing medium-intensity facility at 900 Arthurs Way. The building was designed for manufacturing and warehouse distribution uses, and another manufacturing medium-intensity use occupies an adjacent building. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval 6-0 on June 17, 2025, and it is recommended that the City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above. Mr. Richard Lutke, our Planning Director, is available for questions, and I think maybe has a few comments on this one. Oh, no, we're good? Okay. And we also have Mr. Greg Noche, the applicant, who has a small presentation. And Mr. Noche, if you could state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
And I have the honor to present to you Fast Photonics USA. They make an interesting little device here, and they're hoping to do it here in Lewisville. And I'm going to pass this to you, but this is what they're going to be making, about 3,000 of these a day. Do you want me to? Mr. Lutke is going to help me. Thank you. But this property is at Arthur's Lane. We're in one of the buildings. We're actually going to be in building 1. If you look to the what looks like on your screen, the south of building 1, you'll see another building, and there in that building is where the other medium intensity or medium manufacturing intensity SUP is. So Fast Photonics USA was established in Texas in 2024. It's a U.S. location for manufacturing optical transceivers, which is what you're seeing. It takes data, receives data and light beams, and then transfers it to a server or transfers it out of the server and onto fiber optic lines to transmit. It is becoming increasingly important and essential for the development of data centers. In fact, what you're going to see is that this business is about $3.3 billion this year. By 2033, it's going to be a $10 billion business across the industry. This organization, Fast Photonics USA, was created in response to continued demand that they want more U.S. content in their network devices, and this is a way in which Fast Photonics is going to help deliver that. Its manufacturing process is pretty simple. It's a very linear process and is not very intensive once the equipment is in place. The reason that the SUP is actually required is because it uses a glue. So if you had just puzzle pieces and you were putting puzzle pieces together, you wouldn't need an SUP in this location. But if you had puzzle pieces that you're putting together and you're gluing those puzzle pieces together, because of that glue and that adhesion, it requires the SUP for that process. These are manufactured in a clean room, and it involves very sensitive electronic components, so they have to be free from contamination. You'll see people in sterile suits. The only reason that they're in those suits is because of trying to keep everything off of these transceivers. 30 steps in the manufacturing process, 27 of them are automated. Basically, it involves gluing a microchip to the optical lens, other components onto a printed circuit board using an epoxy, applying heat and UV light to cure the adhesive, melting the gold wire onto the microchip, and then packing and labeling the transceivers. And this is the consistency of the packing and labeling. This is what a typical package of how they get transported. They get transported in trucks that are about the size of a Prime or a Amazon Prime truck, delivery truck. So we're not talking 18-wheelers, either for the raw components that are coming in or for the manufactured products once they're being shipped. The only time that you would see a big truck on site is when the original equipment gets delivered to the site for the installation. With regard to hazardous materials, there's no hazardous materials that are being used or produced in the manufacturing process. None of the trucks or none of the glues or the epoxies require any sort of placards on the sides of trucks when they're being transported, and they are not considered to be hazardous materials according to the Department of Transportation standards as well. There's no noise produced outside the building. Everything is contained within the building itself, and then all the components themselves, there's no outside storage to this. It is all stored within the building as well. Here's a glimpse of the pictures of the entire assembly line for these transceivers. And just gives you a glimpse of kind of what you were looking at, the internal components of what you just were holding in your hands. The hope is to begin production, assuming success tonight, begin production in September of 2025. So from the approval to the production standpoint, not a significant amount of time. The initial investment is $12.5 million. You're going to have 22 employees producing about 25,000 units a month. Ultimately, the plan is to get to 100,000 units, and that would require over 188 employees. And then you would be basically requiring another investment of $7.7 million. The plan is to achieve that by the fourth quarter of 2026. There's no impact to the surrounding area. It's indistinguishable from a light intensity manufacturing that's already used there by right. It's also compatible with the other development in the area. As you know, there is a SUP just to the south of the property. I am happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Council, any questions?
Yeah, I have a few. So Richard, as we spoke earlier, there's a note in the staff memo that does talk about hazardous materials, but that's incongruent with the slideshow we just saw. Can you speak to that discrepancy, please?
Yes, that note was referring to some of the language that describes the condensate. This business keeps the facility very cold at all hours, and it was explained to staff that that condensate is changed out each year and is not discharged into our sanitary sewer system, but is collected and removed off the site for proper disposal.
Sure, but are there hazardous materials on site?
I would have to refer that to the applicant.
Okay.
There are no hazardous materials on site.
Okay, so the staff memo is a little inaccurate, I guess is what I'm getting at. Is that right? Okay, fantastic. And then when I did some research on the company, looks like there's a $14 million raise of Series B. This was a $12.5 million expansion. Was most of that Series B to be used out here in this expansion? Is that right?
I'm not aware of the financing vehicle that's being used for this. I know that the company is eager to get started and begin their production.
Okay. So. And Richard, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but can you talk about the expansion by right? That doesn't just give carte blanche to do whatever they want to do after this is approved. Can you talk about where that begins and ends?
Correct. The SUP applies to the platted lot, the property, which does contain the building, so that does give the applicant the right to expand further within the existing building. Now, if they were to expand onto an adjacent site, that would require a new SUP.
Okay.
And it's for the use, which is the defined use is manufacturing medium intensity.
Okay. So the expansion to 188 employees doesn't require another presentation to council, as long as it's within that building that they're currently in.
That is correct. And they will still have to go through the building permit and certificate of occupancy process.
Okay. So other checks, balances, and hoops that would have to adhere to expand, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I have a couple other things that I wanted to bring up as well, but I'm going to hold off. Does anybody else want to speak first?
I just had a clarification, because so my understanding is correct, is that, at least I'm looking at the site plan, and we have 3 buildings, but each building is on a separate property. Is that correct?
I think the buildings are all on one parcel, but
They're on individually platted lots.
Okay, yeah. So.
Each building is on an individually platted lot?
Yes,
Okay, so these are lot lines that I'm looking at on this exhibit.
correct.
So it's, if they were to expand to building 2, that would require a separate SUP?
Correct.
Okay, and so this is just what we're looking at tonight is just for a portion of building 1, is that correct?
It is, yes, it is for building 1, and that it contemplates the entire expansion of the 188 jobs and the ultimate production.
But for right now, your first phase is just a portion of building 1. Is that correct? Did I read that somewhere?
Yes, the narrative said it was just a portion for the first phase, and then the second phase would expand to the rest of the building.
Okay.
Rest of building 1.
Yes,
Yes.
so 188 people can be accommodated and all within building 1.
Correct.
Okay. I just had a couple of clarifying questions, and that helps me. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions?
So,
Okay, Councilmember Kelly?
yeah, I have so these are statements, I guess, and if there's anything's wrong here, please push back, because I just want to make sure I understand. And this is about the ownership of the company. So the company is a Chinese organization, is that accurate?
This Fast Photonics USA is owned by Fast Photonics Singapore.
Right, okay.
So
there is in that Series B round, there are 5, it looks like 5 major investors that went into that round. One that concerns me a lot is China Unicom, which is prohibited from operating telecom in our country anymore. Can you speak to that at all?
I cannot speak to that.
So I do have concern about that, because there's according to the Homeland Security Business Advisory, Chinese firms under the Intelligence Law of China Act of 2017, they're required to support any espionage as part of being a Chinese citizen. Is that accurate? Do you know?
I do not know that.
Okay. I'm going to pause here and say, I believe vaccines work. I don't think 5G is any worse than 4G. So I'm not typically a conspiracy guy. But it does concern me a little bit. And these are things that we can't take into account for this vote, and I'm aware of that. But I also want to make people who might be listening that the research was done, and we aren't allowed to consider anything outside of whether or not this is the proper use for this particular location. Is that right, Richard?
That is correct. The decision before you tonight has to be tested and based upon the 5 criteria for special use permits found in the Unified Development Code.
So I want to continue then. China Unicom is a state-owned telecom operator. It's been banned in the U.S. for national security and espionage concerns. This was back under the Biden administration. According to the BBC, in January 2022, U.S. authorities explicitly stated that China Unicom posed a threat to access, store, disrupt, and misroute U.S. communications. And this is important because this is an investor inside of this group. So this also means that there's 3 equipment manufacturers, and I'm going to screw this name up, Huawei, ZTE, and 3 other manufacturers. They can't produce these types of devices inside the U.S., is my understanding. But if they're produced here, they seem to be okay for the telecom industry. So that's my understanding. I'm open to being wrong if anybody has corrections to that. Okay. So according to Reuters in October 2019, the FCC revoked the U.S. authorization for China Telecom Americas, saying it's subject to exploitation, influence, and control by the Chinese government. So I put that out there because if anybody's listening, we can't consider these things inside of our vote today. What we have to do, and I'm a big proponent of separation and segregation of duties. I'm one of the most outspoken people you're going to find when it comes to local rule, and I don't want to get in the way of our elected officials and agencies at the state and federal level who are responsible for enforcing those laws. So we can't consider those things, but they were investigated. I had a great talk with Richard and his team and Gene about this earlier today. We can't consider those things, but they were looked at, and it's outside of the purview of this council. So we're going to have to trust that if there is any concern, that our friends and our elected officials at the state and federal level will take care of that. And that's all I have to say. Other than listening, if anybody has anything to say back to those things I just said.
All I can address to you, Councilman, is that the Fast Photonics USA is interested and ready and eager to begin business here and is looking forward to complying with all laws of the United States, all laws of the state of Texas, and all laws and ordinances of the city of Lewisville.
Thank you.
We're going to open the public hearing, if there's no further questions from council. No, we're going to open it, because I didn't have a chance to open it yet. So we're going to open that. Any other public comment on this? If there's no further public comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, if you please vote to close the public hearing.
Okay. Yeah.
Motion passes unanimously. Council, I'll entertain a motion.
You have to wait a minute. It's on a delayed thing.
I move to approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, if you please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. May I get the transceiver?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
We thought we'd just make a necklace or something out of it.
is that a functional one? Because I got a data switch in the back.
Mayor, if you can figure out how to use it.
I'm probably the only one on this dais that does know how to use it. Well, maybe Councilmember Kelly.
Hey,
You have a good one.
he too. Hey, don't cut us short.
There we go. No, one
Don't
more.
be cutting us short.
I'm learning every day. I'm learning every day. All right, next up, visitors forum. Speakers must address their comments to the mayor rather than to individual council members or staff. Speakers should speak clearly and state their name and address prior to beginning their remarks. Speakers will be allowed 5 minutes for testimony. Speakers making personal, impertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks may be removed from the meeting. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping of feet, whistles, yells, clapping, and similar demonstrations will not be permitted. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council is restricted from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Action can only be taken at a future meeting. I do not see any comments or requests for visitors forum, so we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. All the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests. For a member of the public to request removal of an item, a speaker card or e-comment must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. I have no public requests, but I think I do have one.
Mayor, I'd like to pull item 8.
All right. So we'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the exception of item 8.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item 8.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes, second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Consent agenda is approved unanimously. We'll go ahead and deal with item 8 now. Let me find that. All right, item 8 from the consent agenda. We're going to, we do have
Yes, Mayor, I need to recuse myself from item number 8.
Thank you, Councilmember Meredith. Consent agenda, item 8, ratification of the bill of sale and assignment and assumption agreement by Serve Lewisville Incorporated and the City of Lewisville and the release of deed of trust and 2 leases agreements with Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tarrant County and adoption of a resolution ratifying the First Amendment to the agreement between the City of Lewisville and Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tarrant County to address food insecurity. In November 2022, the City of Lewisville entered into an agreement with Serve Lewisville to provide a 10-year forgivable loan to acquire property at 1001 South Edmonds Lane to renovate the existing building and operate a nonprofit center. In May 2025, Serve Lewisville notified the City of Lewisville that it will cease all operations by June 30th, 2025. In lieu of foreclosure, Serve Lewisville requested to transfer all of its assets, including the property, to the City of Lewisville. This further necessitated extending certain agreements with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tarrant County, one of the primary tenants operating on the property. Due to the last-minute nature of the request, the City Manager has to approve these documents first and is now seeking ratification. It's recommended that the City Council ratify the agreements and release as set forth in the caption above and adopt the resolution as set forth in the caption above. Council?
Move to ratify according to the caption.
Second.
And adopt the resolution?
And adopt the resolution.
All right, thank you, sir. appreciate that. I have a vote. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Council, if you'd please vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Councilmember Meredith. Item H, regular hearing 12. Consideration of a variance to Lewisville City Code, Section 2-201, fee schedule regarding a waiver of athletic field rental fees and temporary event permits fees associated with the Battle of the Badge charity softball tournament and authorization for the city manager or her designee to execute the contract. Since 2005, the Lewisville Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association has hosted the Battle of the Badge charity softball tournament featuring friendly competition between the Lewisville Police and Fire Departments and other local agencies. Proceeds benefit the Alumni Association and a 501c3 charity selected by the winning team. City Council has historically approved a full fee waiver for the event each year. In recognition of its longstanding tradition and public benefit, a 5-year renewable agreement is proposed to streamline future approvals. The 2025 tournament is scheduled for October 18th at Railroad Park with an estimated city cost of $1,593 and approximately $7,965 for the total over 5 years. Fees for the 26 through 29 year are expected to be similar with slight annual variations. A full waiver is requested for all 5 years and in line with past approvals. It's recommended the City Council approve the variance and authorize the city manager or her designee to execute the agreement as set forth in the caption above. Council, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, before we do that, is there what are the stats for this? What are those stats? What are the stats for this event? Yeah. You just give me like the last 3 to 5 years.
I've only worked here a year.
But you know.
We're going to rebuild it. We let them win about every 5 years. They did win last year, but that was the first time.
Were you being nice because it was his first year? Nah, I think they really got you.
A lot of skill. Yeah. I think they've been recruiting some very good wagering this year.
So I understand y'all are skydiving to the field this year? The Chiefs are? Are y'all skydiving to the field this year with flags?
We did not get that opportunity last year.
No.
We're doing it this year. We welcome the opportunity, right?
Yes, sure.
Councilwoman, as sponsor of the item, I just want to say that it's most important that everyone plays regardless of the end of the
That's it.
of the game. That they all have fun.
Friendly competition, friendly.
This is an absolutely fantastic event every year. This is one of my favorite events that we do. There's so many. Western Days is great, but this has a personal place in my heart, probably because the announcers are just so fantastic.
They are.
They are.
That's right, that's right.
He looks a lot like you, too. It's amazing.
All right.
Motion to approve the variance and authorize city manager or her designee to execute the agreement as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, if you'd please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 13, consideration of an ordinance of the City of Lewisville approving the 2025-26 annual service plan update to the service and assessment plan and assessment roll for public improvements for the Lakeside Crossing Public Improvement District and providing a repeal or severability and an effective date. On March 20th, 2023, the city created the Lakeside Crossing Public Improvement District for construction of public improvements in a designated area that contains approximately 25.546 acres located along McGee Lane, north of Justin Road and west of Interstate Highway 35E. An update to the service and assessment plan and assessment roll must be considered and approved by the City Council annually. This plan identifies public improvement costs to be provided by the PID along with the manner of assessing the property in the PID and the assessment roll. It's recommended that the City Council approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption above. Council?
Move to approve the ordinance as set forth in the caption.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Council, please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item 14, consideration of appointments of a 2035 steering committee. The City of Lewisville is beginning the process of updating its long-range comprehensive plan through the development of the Lewisville 2035 Vision Plan. The plan will help guide the city's growth, development, and quality of life for the next decade. One of the steps in this process is to form a steering committee made up of engaged residents who will assist in developing the plan over the next 18 months. Committee members will participate in public meetings, serve on focused subcommittees, represent diverse community perspectives, and help promote the planning process. Staff issued a call for applications to serve on the steering committee, and a total of 98 applications were received. It's recommended that the City Council appoint the 2035 steering committees and designate 6 to 7 future subcommittee chairpersons. So let's break this apart. First of all, the committee itself, just general steering committee, we have those 98 folks that have signed up for that. We do have maybe another dozen or more that have expressed interest, but it was after the deadline. Is there an appetite to open that up for another 2 weeks till our next council meeting, or are we, council, good with where we are?
I personally feel like the more voices we have, the better. I think that that's what makes this process stronger, and I welcome the additional folks into it.
Other comments?
I'm good with that.
Good with that?
Have other.
No, I concur 100% with what Councilwoman Green just said. I just want to make sure that, one, we do a nice public push to make sure the word gets back out there, and anybody that emailed a council member or city manager gets a personal email back again that says, yeah, we told you no, but it's going to be yes now, so go apply now. So as long as those two things are accomplished, I'm okay with it. I think it's fair.
All right. So with that one, what we'll need to do on the motion is add an extension of the timeline until, not the next council meeting, but it would be 2 weeks from, well, it would be 2 weeks from today. So to extend the timeline to the Friday before next council meeting.
Can I make that motion right now?
Hold on.
No?
The other piece is that we do need to assign 7 committee chairs, ideally. So we have a list here of 22 names and applicants, and I'm just going to go through the top 7. So we have those. Council, each one of you sent in some information or feedback to city staff on a list of people that you believe would be good recommendations for committee chair. These folks, we also had several dozen people who said that they would be happy to be a committee chair or co-chair, so none of these people are going to be surprised if they are assigned a committee chair. I'm going to recommend that the co-chairs actually be picked by the committees, that we don't do that here today, that we're only going to deal with committee chairs. And we need to come up with 7 of them. So the top 7 that we have from council input to city staff, number 1 is Brandon Jones. Number 2 is Angela Llewellyn. Number 3 is Joshua Channon. Number 4 is John Tidwell. Number 5 is John Deal. Number 6 is David Margulies. And number 7 is Adrian Doko.
Do we miss
Mayor,
10
I
Marl?
think you have the
Yeah, I think
wrong
you've got
list.
that wrong.
Yeah,
You skipped over. You don't have the
Oh,
updated
no,
list.
mine are not in numerical order, so my apologies. Okay, there we go, let me fix
And
that.
Mayor,
So,
can I interject something in here?
Can I read this list of 7?
Well, I guess you can.
I'm gonna do that, and then we'll go after
Okay.
that. So, sorry, top 7 were by council recommendation so far. Brandon Jones, Angela Llewellyn, Joshua Channon, John Tidwell, Jen Marvel, John Deal, and David Margulies. We had several with just 2 voices in there, so from John Deal all the way down to Jennifer Southwell with 2 votes apiece. With that, I'll open this up to conversation.
Well, I just wanted to say that those last 2, there's what you just said. I mean,
Right.
so I would agree that the top 5 that you read, those are the top 5.
Okay.
But the number 6 and 7 are kind of
Up in the air.
up in the air because
And-
we have a
I
bunch.
interject?
And that's what I was going to interject, is what she interjected.
That I took care of by reading the numbers, right? We
Well,
got it?
Well, no, you
I
said
might
number
say-
6, you read number 6 and 7
Right,
as a
but then
person,
included
but
the rest.
that's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so, okay, very good. Councilmember Troyer?
I was late in getting my my name's in, and if mine had come in,
Yep.
2 of the ones that have 2 votes would now have 3.
Which ones would you have put in there?
Okay.
I had Karen Locke and Aram Ali.
Okay, Karen and Aram, okay. So, other comments?
I have Aram as well.
I had David Margulies and Adrian Doko.
Yeah, I'm there as well. I think Karen and Aram are absolutely fantastic. I love them both to death, but I'm trying to find ways to get people who might need an opportunity to be more involved. And I don't know that I know Adrian or I know David's been in some things and John's been in some things as well. But and is Adrian currently on a board at this juncture?
Adrian's not, but he's been coming up. Wait, Adrian, are you on any boards? I don't believe so. But you've been coming to council meetings for the last 4 months, I think, somewhere in that.
Okay.
Maybe
Nice to
longer.
meet you over there. I didn't realize you were back there. Fantastic. But I would love to give some other folks an opportunity to display some leadership. And I know they could probably do it in the co-chair position as well. But now's an opportunity to make them a subcommittee chair and then maybe co-chair some of the ones who've been active already in our city.
Can I just?
I
haven't had a chance to go yet.
Well,
I have been shut down. I was the first one to ask to go. I know.
Patrick.
Well, oh, yeah, go ahead. I can let you.
Okay, thank you.
You may not even need something.
I do want to make one comment on this, that we only have in that top 7, 1 woman.
That's right. That's what, well, in the top 7, we have 2. Angela and
Jen Marvel.
But we need another woman.
So what I was going to say was that I agree with you that I want to see some newer people kind of coming in, but I want to make sure that the people that are serving as chairs on these committees are familiar enough with Lewisville and some of the background that you get when you serve on committees for years and years, that, because they're going to be leading discussions on various topics. And I think they're, the people who have been more actively involved are just better suited to be the chair. Now, they can recruit somebody. I would love to pair them up with somebody who is maybe a little bit new to the game to kind of co-chair and get that experience. But that's just my thought there.
No, that's a valid thought. Once again, you're right. Not wrong.
Well, let me go down the list. Are we okay with Brandon Jones?
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot, Patrick.
I guess so.
Are we okay with Angela?
Yes.
Are we okay with Josh Shannon?
Yes.
Are we okay with John Tidwell?
Yes.
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 This
is Jack Tidwell, right, from P&Z?
I think so.
I believe.
Are you sure? John and Jack are 2 different names.
They're usually the same.
Are we okay with Jen Marvel?
Yes.
Yes.
John Deal? David Margulies?
Yes.
Adrian.
All right, so I got 3, solid, and then the yeses fell off pretty quickly. So we can talk about John Tidwell, Jen Marvel, John Deal, David Margulies, or somebody else in those spaces.
I think maybe this is just me, but I don't think anybody had any concerns with the top 5. That's my feel. So I think those are all fine.
We okay with that? I just
Just
heard
the
the
rest
number
of
of
I hear you,
yeses
yep.
disappear.
Yeah, I think that was survey fatigue is what was saying.
Fair enough. Okay, so are we good with 1 through 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk to me about 6 and 7, gang.
I would love to see Aram be number 6.
I agree.
Any other support for Aram?
All right.
Yes.
Yep. I can support Aaron.
Yeah. All right, so we've got Aram in there. So that would be position 6 and position 7.
I like Adrian.
One more time?
All right, Adrian?
Adrian.
I can go with Adrian.
I can do that.
Right.
Since he's
I could go with that.
up there.
Yep.
Adrian.
He also represents our Armenian
That's right.
community as well, so that's maybe a piece of the puzzle there too. All right, so I have Brandon Jones, Angela Llewellyn, Josh Channon, John Tidwell, Jen Marvel, Adrian Doko, Aaron Malley.
I will, one more quick thing. I am hoping and willing this into fruition through this comment that the folks who are chairs use the same list to consider their co-chairs.
Their co-chairs.
I really hope that's what happens. I hope that's what happens. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so council, I need a motion to appoint all applicants to the 2035 steering committee and designate those 7 names that we selected as future subcommittee chairpersons.
In 2 weeks.
And to continue to have open applications until July 18th.
Okay. Did you write all that down?
I've got most of it written down.
Okay. I move that we appoint 7 chairs tonight to the 2035.
Okay.
And those being Brandon Jones, Angela Llewellyn, Joshua Channing, John E. Tidwell Jr., Jen Marvel, Adrian Doko, and Aram Ali. Do we need to do this all separately or all in one motion?
And to appoint all applicants
And to appoint all applicants
to the steering committee.
to the 2035 steering committee
And to extend
and to extend the deadline to July 18th
at 5 p.m.
at 5 p.m.
All right, I have a
So
second.
help me God.
We got a motion to
I'm
second.
sorry, yes, I got distracted. Second.
All right, I got a motion to second. Council, if you would please vote.
It's like we're on unicycles today.
All right. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, council. Thank you to everyone who has signed up for this. It's going to be a great program. Item I, reports. Reports about items of community interest regarding which no action will be taken. I'm going to start to my right with Councilmember Meredith.
Yes, Mayor, I have some library reports for the week. College Search Series College Fair for teens and their families, Tuesday, July 8th, 12:45 to 3 p.m. The Glenmore Savage Community Room. Registration is recommended. Neighborhood Grant Workshop for Adults, Tuesday, July 8th, 6:30 to 7:30. Crawford Meeting Room, no registration is required. And Elementary Explorations for Children aged 6 to 8, Thursday, July 10th, 3:30 to 4:30 at the Bennett Program Room. Free ticket required. And that's all I've got.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Troyer?
Yes, I have some exhibition information for the Lewisville Grand Theater. First of all, Sacred Ground, Framing the Forgotten, presented by the City of Lewisville through July 12th. Lewisville Face-Off exhibition, presented by the Portrait Society of America through July 12th. Moving Through Memory, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville, July 12th through August 9th, Meaning Through Memory. And finally, All Natural, presented by the Visual Art League of Lewisville, July 12th through August 9th.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Kelly?
I just want to take a quick moment to thank everybody who's involved with the 4th of July activities. Last I heard, there was some 6,500 folks out there, which I think encroached on a record, and I think that's when we stopped counting. Does anybody have a final count on what that was, approximately?
We stopped counting at 7,000. Previous record was 5,500.
That's awesome. The drone show was fantastic. Really enjoyed that. Fireworks were pretty good too. I gotta say, having them split like that was not a bad compromise. So thanks everybody who came out. The truck vendors were fantastic. The music was great. If you missed it, you got to come next year.
Councilmember Green?
I just wanted to quickly mention the My Water Advisor 2.0 app. I got a flyer with my electronic water bill, and so I downloaded it. I am not a tech savvy person, but I was able to do this very easily and link the app to my actual water account, and it shows me how much water I'm using daily, hourly, my monthly usage, and it tells me what my current billing cycle usage is, and it projects it out for what I'm going to be using this month. So I can, if that's too much, which actually right now it looks like I'm projected over my average, so I need to kind of conserve some water. So this is a really, really neat tool. I encourage everybody to go download it. It's super easy and very interesting.
Councilmember Tipton.
I do not have anything this evening.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Cade.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. In light of the horrific events this weekend, the police had rolled out in their social media an app called My 3 Words. And I think it would be very, very useful for every family to talk about that app and to get it downloaded on your phones. It could potentially save your life one day. And I want to make mention of a dear friend and his wife and residents of Lewisville, somebody that grew up here. Jeff Ramsey and Tanya Ramsey are still listed as missing. He was listed as found but was misidentified, so he is listed as missing, and we hope to hear something very soon. I went to school with him and graduated with him at Lewisville High School. This is a man that gave a lot more than he ever took. And he had a wonderful wife that did the same. So please remember his 2 children and extended family and friends, and hope to bring him home back to Lewisville, and Tanya back to Lewisville very soon. Thank you.
I do have 2 staff reports. Fire Chief McNeil.
Yes, I just wanted to give a quick update on the members we have that are deployed to Central Texas. So we sent 2 members on Friday as part of Texas Task Force 2. They've had several assignments in that region. Most recently, they've been in Marble Falls on rescue missions. They are supposed to report unless something changes. They'll be in the Kerrville area tomorrow. I think a lot of the resources are going to be focused in that area now. We deployed a SAW team of 4 members as part of that SAW team this morning. They hit the ground and reported straight to Kerrville and went to work this afternoon, and will stay in Kerrville. They're kind of the second phase of that rescue or search piece now. So they're doing debris piles, using heavy equipment, and moving a lot of things. So hard and both emotionally and physically work. But I want to thank the Mayor and Council for your support, our city management for supporting us in this program. When we put the word out, we have an overwhelming number of our firefighters that are wanting to go to put their training to use down there, as all of us as we watch this tragedy unfold. So thank you very much for that help. And for those that, while this is really probably not at the foremost of anybody's mind in the middle of a tragedy, but just so people understand, as part of this program, the state fully reimburses the city for any expenses we have. So they meet our payroll, both for the members that are deployed and for those that backfill in the stations to keep our city covered. And they also pay a rate for any equipment we send. So while, like I say, it may not be foremost in your mind, the city is made whole. We front the money, and then the state reimburses us for all our expenses. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. City Engineer David Selman.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide a brief update on our Corporate Drive construction project. Sun Construction, the city's contractor, will be setting the last beams on the Trinity River Bridge later this week, which is a major milestone for the project. Corporate Drive project extends from Railroad Street on the west to Old Denton Road on the east in East Lewisville. It is the city's largest roadway project to date. The Trinity River Bridge is roughly a half-mile long and includes roughly 200 beams. So we're finally coming to the end of that bridge construction. I also wanted to mention that staff is currently working with the contractor to arrange a city council tour of the construction site over the next couple of weeks. So more details to come.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the update on that. All right, and with that, we are going to go ahead and move into closed session in accordance with Texas Government Code Subchapter D, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney pending litigation, City of Lewisville, Texas versus Cameron County Housing Finance Corporation et al., case number 25-4665-367, 367th Judicial District, Denton County, Texas, Section 551.072, real estate property acquisition, Section 551.074, personnel, discussion of election of Mayor Pro Tem and Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, and Section 551.087, economic development, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. We are moving into closed session. All right, we're going to call this back into regular session. Councilor, is there any action to be taken?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that Councilwoman Ronnie Cade be named Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Bob Troyer, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second from, I'm going to go with William. Yeah, we'll say Lonnie. Let's do Lonnie. There we go. And a second from Lonnie. Turner and, Tipton. I can't. I'm telling you, we are riding unicycles. It's just tonight. Lonnie Tipton. There we go. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. There's no further action to be taken tonight. We stand adjourned.